What is up, guys? Welcome back for the rest of section 3.3, multiplying integers. We are going to only look at a couple more problems, and we are on page 153, so make sure you take notes. Once again, if you don't have your book, get a piece of paper, write these problems down on your piece of paper or on your workbook, page 153. There are a lot of blanks. You should be filling in those blanks. I should see those all filled in along with the check problems being done. If you don't have your book, you can't do the check problem. So maybe I'll put it up so you can see it, and if I put it up, then you can work on it. Okay, so the last couple things for this section are we are multiplying, and sometimes you're going to be asked to multiply, but not kind of directly. So here we want to evaluate. Remember, we talked about this word evaluate. It has kind of the root value in it. So we want to find the value of this expression, which is going to be a single number. So anytime you're seeing that word evaluate in math, your answer should be a single number. We're going to evaluate this expression, a times b squared times c, when a equals -5, b equals 4, and c equals -9. So the first thing we're going to do is in place of a, put -5 like you see here. In place of b, we're going to put 4. And in place of c, you're going to put -9. Now if you remember, order of operations says that we have to do exponents first. So we are going to multiply 4 squared, 4 times 4, first, and that becomes a 16. And then we can multiply the -5 times the 16. Negative times a positive is -80. And now we're going to multiply -80 times -9, which a negative times a negative is positive, and 80 times 9 is 720. So make sure you're filling in all these boxes on page 153. So you get 720 for your final answer. So again, we're plugging in the numbers for each variable. Here we have exponents first, and then it's just multiplying like the problems you did in example 5 yesterday. So when you multiply 3 numbers, just multiply 2 at a time. And remember, negative times positive is negative. Negative times negative is positive. So let me see. I think, yep, here, I'll bring up the check problem. So if you do not have your, oh, it's not working today. Okay, sorry. This one actually is this. So let's see if I can get this to work. The check problem is evaluate PQ RS. So P times Q times R times S. If P is -7, that's a 7. 7, oh my goodness, 7. Q equals 15. R equals 1, oh my goodness, and S equals, okay, the pen is a little slower, -2. So here's your check problem if you don't have your book. So pause this and work it out. The rest of you pause it and work it out in your books if you have your book. Okay, so the last thing for this section is using properties to multiply integers. So there are a few properties that you should be familiar with, and one of them is the additive inverse property. So anything plus its inverse equals 0, we talked about that. The number and its opposite, if you add them, they equal 0. The distributive property, if I have the quantity a times b plus c, then this is the same as ab plus ac. We would just multiply a times b and a times c. And there's another property, the multiplicative inverse property, 1 times a, anything times 1 equals itself. And the multiplicative property of 0, you guys know that anything times 0 equals 0. So watch this quick video to learn how to use these properties.
Suppose you are asked to use properties of multiplication to show that 2 times -1 is equal to -2.
Hold on.
Let's begin with a true statement.
We'll go back. Sorry, guys.
Suppose you are asked to use properties of multiplication to show that 2 times -1 is equal to -2. Let's begin with a true statement that shows 2 times 0 equals 0. This statement is true based on the multiplicative property of 0. Now 0 can be replaced by the sum of 1 and -1. This substitution is based on the additive inverse property. Next, multiply each addend from the previous statement by 2 using the distributive property. The product 2 times 1 can now be replaced by 2 based on the multiplicative identity property. The last statement shows that 2 plus the product of 2 and -1 is equal to 0. For this sum to equal 0, the product must be equal to the additive inverse of 2. So the product 2 times -1 must equal -2. This proves the original statement.
So that was just a quick video to show you how you can actually prove. In a lot of math is justifying your steps and justifying and showing and proving why something is true. Why is it true that a negative times a positive is negative? And so you use those properties when you're trying to justify those statements or when you're trying to prove a statement. So this was just a quick introduction of how you kind of prove something is true using properties. So you're not going to have to do this right now, but just something to be aware of, that we do have all these properties and we use these properties when we're doing proofs in math. So that is where we are going to end today. If you watched all the way through, then on the bottom of page 154, draw a picture of your favorite candy bar. What's your favorite candy? Draw a picture of it on the bottom of page 154, and this way I know that you watched this video. Okay, have a good rest of your day, guys. Till next time, see you later.